Hey guys, welcome to Technibility, your source for no-nonsense tech. My name is Berj. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to go ahead and get straight to this review with the iPhone X. This will be the iPhone 10, Apple's latest and greatest, the newest model iPhone, the one everyone is talking about, the one that's sold out, the one that if you pre-order today, you'll get in a month. This is it right here, guys, the iPhone X. And we're going to go ahead and delve right into it. But first, thank you guys for watching Technibility, your source for no-nonsense tech. The way that I do my reviews is very simple. I just go through the phone. There's no pre-written script here. I'm just going through the features. I've been using the phone for a couple days, so I'm well aware of the features. And then basically, if you guys have any questions or concerns, you can go ahead and ask me, and I'll go ahead and try to respond in a prompt manner. Otherwise, we're essentially just going to go through the phone here together just to get a better idea of the features, what's new, and whether or not I think this phone is a good phone for you as a consumer and the various different consumers who are in the market for a cell phone today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started without further ado. Looking at the phone, you can see it's an absolutely stunning device, and that's because Apple has opted to use LED, AMOLED display, which is manufactured by Samsung. This thing is not quite 2K resolution, but it's very close, and it's rendering roughly it's rendering over 450 pixels per inch. So that's higher than the 401 pixels per inch that you get with the 1080p display on the iPhone Plus model. And this is an 18:9 ratio as opposed to the 16:9 in previous iteration iPhones, and the display is 5.8 inches. It has about a 83% screen to body ratio. So you could see very little bezel. If you put a black wallpaper, you're probably not even going to notice the bezel. A lot of people are complaining about this cut up top right here, but that's in place for, of course, the front speaker, the ear speaker, the proximity sensor, the face detection, which we'll get into, as well as the front-facing camera. But also the display is just stunning. I mean, this is definitely the nicest display Apple has released. And of course, it's not manufactured by Apple, but it's built for them. And you could see just on a close-up, this thing is stunning. It's got great color saturation. I'm a fan of LED. Not all iPhone users may be accustomed to an LED display, but believe me when I tell you, if you're an iPhone user who's used to LCD, once your eyes get accustomed to the color saturation of LED, which generates amazing blacks and just a more high contrast color saturation, you're not going to want to go back. It's just that simple. And looking at the screen again in viewing angles, it's perfect. I mean, it literally looks like the display's painted on because it is kind of lifted up. It's got like this ice cream sandwich display thing. It's not quite curved, but it is lifted up off the display. It's an expensive screen, as all LED displays are. For example, if you were to purchase a Samsung LCD display for an S8 in today's market, you're going to spend over $200. So this is no exception. It's going to cost you over $200 if you want to purchase the screen online. You can see the bottom, you have the speaker, missing the 3.5mm headphone jack, no longer there. Of course, the lightning port cable and the two screws. Here on the left side, you have the volume rockers with the vibrate mode. Here up top, you have, of course, nothing. Here on the left, you have the larger power button now. Of course, that also doubles up as Siri. And then you have the SIM tray. On the back, you have the 12-megapixel dual camera with flash, the Apple logo, as well as, of course, the Apple icon, or excuse me, the iPhone logo with the Apple icon. You don't have any text below the iPhone logo, which you used to get in previous model iPhones. And of course, the back is all glass, and one of the reasons why is because they implemented wireless charging into this device. So with wireless charging now, you do get a glass back, which is similar to what they did with the iPhone 4 and 4S. Now, this thing can break, but it is replaceable. So, you know, don't fret. Of course, now you have two sides that you could potentially break. And this is the silver model. It comes in silver and space gray. I think the silver model looks a little bit more elegant than this space gray model. Very little going on in terms of the hardware design. The bezel is all metal, and you can see the antenna down here and up there. And again, very little going on. It's a thin device. It's not a thick device by any stretch of the imagination, and it feels like a premium phone. I mean, this thing feels super premium. I call it the Lamborghini of phones, and it definitely is. It's got a super premium feel. It's a phone that, you know, Apple put a lot of work into, a lot of thought into, and this is the future. So if you're not used to the home button, well, get used to it, because by next year, they're going to get rid of the home button altogether. So in terms of its design, I give this thing a 10. I think it's a perfect design, 5.8-inch display. I think Apple really hit a home run here. I know, again, people are complaining about this up top right here, but it's not that big of a deal. You get used to it. Put a black wallpaper, you won't even notice it. Plus, black looks stunning on AMOLED displays. Now, before I get into anything with the software and the specs, I do want to mention that with AMOLED displays, you get something called screen burn image, SBI. Now, that happens to pretty much every AMOLED display, and there are ways to avoid it, and I'm going to give you a few tips here on how to avoid it. Now, first thing first, Apple has said, I believe, that they will cover screen burn under their warranty. Now, what I suggest you do is try to keep your brightness below 50% as often as possible. That'll help. And also, if you can utilize dark wallpapers, that'll help as well. Light wallpapers tend to make the icons burn in, and that's what screen burn is it the icons or texts will burn into the display, and you'll notice like this white tint on lighter backgrounds of those icons or text, and it's really annoying. It's annoying to look at. It's not fixable, guys, without replacing the screen, despite what any app or anybody else says. It's not fixable, and it does get worse. But with that said, screen burn can be deterred. Keep the brightness low. Try not to charge the phone overnight. Try to put auto lock at about 1 to 2 minutes, and you can hopefully avoid screen burn image, because believe me, once you get it, it doesn't get better, and it only gets worse, and it's something that's just really annoying to look at in light backgrounds. And no matter what software optimization Apple claims they put in there, Samsung has had the same software optimizations, and it still happens. So it doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens to a large amount of people. I know a lot of people who say, I never got screen burn, and that's great if you haven't. But it does happen, so keep that in mind. Now, going in terms of the hardware, this thing's got an A11 CPU. It's got an Apple GPU. You got 3 gigs of RAM, 64 and 256 gigabyte iteration. Of course, it's IP67 water resistant. The battery is a little bit above 2700 milliamps, so you're going to get a good battery here. Great battery life thus far. I haven't had any complaints. iPhones have always been good in terms of idle life. So if the phone's on idle, your battery's not going to drain. Even in heavy use, it's really not all that bad. The battery is really solid. I've had a good experience with it thus far. So battery life has been solid. In terms of the cameras, of course, you have the 12 megapixel dual shooter on the back with the flash, front-facing camera, and the face recognition, which I'll go ahead and show you guys before I get into anything else here. So the face recognition is fairly simple. There it is. There's your lock screen. No home button. You don't have to use this. You can use a passcode if you like. But you can see it just located my face. It unlocked the phone. I simply swipe up. Boom, boom, bam. I open the phone. So it's that simple. And when you set it up, the setup process is also simple. And you can see it. And sometimes it doesn't work in certain lighting, certain conditions. Or if you scrunch up your face, maybe it might not work as easily if your face is turned to the side. But it does seem pretty efficient thus far. It works well. You essentially just have to look at the phone. Bit of a security risk, of course. If someone steals your phone, they could just point it at your face and get it unlocked. As well as some security issues if you were to, God forbid, you were to get arrested and the police had your phone, they could point it up to your face. But nonetheless, it's still secure, because you're not going to be able to take someone's picture and unlock the phone. It does not work that way, guys, despite what anybody says. And Apple has also said that they're not storing your face in any server. It's local to the phone. And I'm sorry, guys, but I believe them. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, but I believe them. I don't think Apple's going to do anything with your face, because let's face it, guys, you already voluntarily post your pictures everywhere on your social networks. So really, what does it matter? All right, going into the software now. This is iOS 11. However, it's iOS 11 with tweaks for the iPhone 10. If I was to just get into settings, for example, I could show you guys how this looks. Very similar to what you get with any other iteration of iOS 11 on any other iPhone. You could see all the settings. Of course, now you have Face ID and passcode. So that's a new feature. And other than that, you get app settings here in the general settings menu, carrier settings, notifications, control center, which still you can't customize. But they've added a few tweaks, like I can just long press now and get certain features and whatnot. So in that regard, it's a little bit more user friendly than it was in years past. But again, Siri and search, Face ID and passcode, battery, low power mode. You could turn on battery saver mode if you'd like. One thing I recommend if you want to save batteries, go to your notifications and turn off whatever notifications you don't use. It basically assists in these apps not running in the background at all times and helps with battery. Also, avoid aftermarket cables, aftermarket chargers, even name brand ones. Power banks, don't use them too much. And also avoid car chargers, the cheap ones that you buy at random liquor stores. Those are going to murder your phone. All right, again, going through the software, let's just go ahead and do a quick performance speed test. You could see 3D touch. And this phone is super duper fast. I mean, I'm literally entering and exiting out of apps, and this thing never slows down. It never lags. It's just so immediate to my touch. Everything I want it to do, it does immediately. It opens apps immediately, literally no lag whatsoever. And if I want to multitask, I can simply just swipe up on the home screen, and you could see how this works. The gestures take a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, they're fairly simple. I can simply just do this, swipe to the left. There you go. Okay. And if I long press on it, I can close out of specific apps. Also very easy to do. Right? All right. And of course, you can simply just swipe up and down. Nothing happens. Swipe to the right. And what's really cool also is if I was to open a video, let me show you guys how this works real quick. Hey guys, welcome to Technibility, your source for no-nonsense tech. My name is Berj, and we got the iPhone 6s versus the iPhone 7. All right, looks like the YouTube crashed. So, there you go. Let's get started. All right, I won't deny that there's a few bugs. The iPhone 7 is Apple's latest iteration of the Apple iPhone. The 6s was last year's model. You can see it's not taking the full screen. I'm hoping YouTube will optimize that eventually. And again, I could just do this. And while it's playing, you can technically multitask and just close out of it. Real simple, very intuitive, and you know, it works well. It works well. I think Apple has looked at what Palm Pre has done in the past, and even something like Nokia's Migo OS, which was within the Nokia N9 family, which was scrapped immediately, that used all gestures. Didn't have any home button, no back button. Everything is gesture based. So even if you were to go into like a setting, in order for you to get out, you would have to gesture back, or of course just swipe up and close out of it. It's that simple. So the gestures you do get used to. Like if I'm using maps, for example, again, I could just swipe up, swipe to the left, and I can see all my apps right here. Or I could simply just click on it, obviously, and open the app. So very simplistic, very intuitive, and this is unique to the iPhone X because, of course, it doesn't have a home button. And you can just go through your home screens here. Very easy to do. Let's just go ahead and look at some apps here on the iPhone X, see what they look like. There's Alarm. I know a lot of people like looking at the weather app. Looks great here with the AMOLED display. Notes, reminders. If we were to go through Twitter, you see it does take up the full screen, which is great, of course. Okay, and then just swipe up to exit out. And now, for example, I can use face recognition on apps like City Mobile, which is my bank. All right, and we're just going to go ahead and close out of that. I don't want to show you guys my bank information. Calendar, right? And going back to the lock screen here, you can see the lock screen shortcuts. You have your notification or your control center as well as your notifications, which you could swipe down and look at if you'd like. And again, now it's unlocked, so I could simply just swipe up and unlock the phone. It's very easy to use. Again, very intuitive. Works well. You could see all of Apple's apps here: podcast, music, iTunes Store, utilities, file speed test, which I downloaded, Apple's apps. And again, with the wireless charging, it's really good. I would buy the Key wireless charging docks. You can also buy the Samsung ones if you'd like. Now, they charge a little bit slower than the Lightning cable, but they are intuitive, and they're a little bit safer to use, in my opinion, than aftermarket cables, which I try to avoid against at all costs. Okay, looking at Chrome here, you can see Chrome runs perfectly fine. Again, also fits the entire screen, gesture-based. Same with Safari. All gesture-based. See, I downloaded some wallpapers here. Okay, so I can simply just swipe back if I want to go back, or just swipe up if I want to go home. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the camera here. All right, the camera on this device is absolutely phenomenal. There is no doubt about the fact that the camera on this device is absolutely phenomenal. It takes superb pictures, super fast, shutter speeds. The flash is very bright. If I was to just simply go here, turn it on, and the phone is a little bit buggy sometimes, guys. It does take a few clicks, but I'm pretty sure software optimization will fix that. Okay, we were to turn flash off. You have live photos, you have portrait mode, video mode, slow-mo. Of course, you also have the front-facing camera here. Okay, and you could see natural light. You have the stage light photo, which you could do under portrait mode, stage light mono. it just takes phenomenal photos. I mean, even the front-facing camera takes phenomenal photos. I mean, Apple's always been known for their fantastic front-facing camera, no doubt about that. All right, so the camera, I'm going to show you guys a few pictures that I took. Right here are a few photos that I took with the iPhone X. The colors look great, just perfect. See these stairs right there. There's with the front-facing camera with a filter. And again, it is live photo. All right. Really good quality, guys. Let me go ahead and show you guys some video here. Alright, shooting 1080p video with the iPhone X. Testing it out here. Zooming action. Alright, now let's just go with the quality here. Phenomenal camera, no doubt about it. Hear the sound in the background of the construction. Alright, now again I could swipe up here. You can see related. I could swipe up again and I can multitask. Of course you can also zoom in and out of videos while you're watching them. See your notifications. And then again just swipe up. Get rid of it. Boom, you're out. Gestures, very intuitive. Of course that's the future. I mean, who's really using a physical home button anymore? It's really a thing of the past at this point. So Apple's going in the right direction, in my opinion. Okay, now going and looking at Siri here. Again, there's a Siri button. Hey Siri, what's going on?
I'm not sure I understand.
Hey Siri, tell me the weather.
It's currently clear and 71 degrees in Glendale.
Hey
Today's
Siri.
high will be 75 degrees, and the low will be 60.
Hey Siri, how old is President Barack Obama?
Barack Obama is 56.
Hey Siri, what is 6 times 6 minus 2 times 3 to the third power divided by 6?
My web search turned something up for what is 6x6 dash 2x 3 to the third power divided by 6.
Hey Siri. Hey Siri, tell me a joke.
What did one iPhone say to the other iPhone? I used to know this one.
What is the best phone in the world right now?
Wait, there are other phones?
Alright, so we can exit out of Siri. So Siri is pretty intuitive. It's been upgraded, of course. It just works well, and I have no complaints with Siri, but it's something I don't really use too often. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the keyboard and some of the animojis. Okay, now of course Apple's keyboard has been very similar to what they had with even the original iPhone. It hasn't really changed much. Very responsive, immediate to your touch. Very little in terms of typing on keys. Some people have issues with that depending on the screen size. You can download third-party keyboards as well if you want gesture-based keyboards and whatnot. They are available here on the iPhone. So keyboard-wise, it's super responsive. Hey. Okay, so you can also, of course, send texts in audio mode if you'd like. Okay. And of course, you have the animojis. Hey, what's going on? Of course, it has to scan your face, which I don't think it's done right now. Let me see if I can get it to do that here. Okay, so I'm going to try to see if I can get my face scanned on this animoji. Hey, what's going on? Hey there. Okay. Hey. Hello, how are you? Hey, what's going on? Animoji. Cool little feature. I mean, not for everybody. Alright, I can lift my eye, blink my eye. Blink and it'll blink with me. And of course, you have to be like right in it with your face, but it does work well when it does work. So I like these animojis, cute little feature, I suppose, that they've added. So it's unique to the iPhone X. I know a lot of people don't really care much for it, but it is there and I'm a fan of it. You could see you have the shortcuts on the bottom. Going back to the keyboard, of course, you can do microphone. Hey, what's going on? Question mark. Do you want to do something? Question mark. Simple, intuitive, and just works. All right, and that's pretty much what you're going to get with the iPhone in general. Simple, intuitive, and just works. And of course, I could long press and I could text message people. I can also long press on the browser and just get some shortcuts and suggested sites and whatnot. Now, I want to go ahead and just look at the hardware one more time here with you guys, because I do want to just basically reiterate that this thing is a stunning device. People might think that I'm sitting here and fawning, but you know what? It's pretty cool, guys. It's basically, my friend Brett, shout out to Perfecto, called it the iGalaxy because he thinks it's like using a Samsung with iOS. And we used to talk about that years back. We're like, can you imagine if Apple released an AMOLED display iPhone? My God, that would be like the hottest thing on the planet. And of course, it is. Because just look at this. I mean, you may not get the best representation of it in this video, but let me tell you, if you see this phone in person, you'll know right off the bat this display is stunning, and it's something that Samsung has had for years. One of the reasons why people love their Samsung, because of the AMOLED display. Again, I already gave you tips on how to avoid screen burn, so believe me when I tell you this, guys, it does happen, so try to look out for that and try to minimize it if you can. Other than that, I mean, the phone in itself is absolutely stunning. It's a really nice design. It's very breakable. I would probably give it about a 10 out of 10 in terms of breakability, but you can get them repaired. I mean, it's going to be costly because it is $1,000 phone, and if you were to buy it today on the third-party market, you're probably going to end up paying about somewhere between $1,200 to $1,300 for it. But that's what you're going to get with an expensive phone, guys, an expensive screen. So of course it's going to be expensive to fix. Don't be shocked if somebody quotes you $450 to get the screen fixed on this thing if you do break it within the next couple months. That's just how much these LED displays cost. Okay, the manufacturing is expensive. Even the aftermarket ones, the manufacturing is expensive, so keep that in mind. And again, just in terms of an overall device as an upgrade, if you have an iPhone 6, is it an upgrade? Yes. 6S? Yes. 6S Plus? Yes. iPhone 7? Yes, of course it's an upgrade. 7 Plus? Yes, it's an upgrade. But does that mean that you should go out right now and spend $1,000 on it? I don't know. See what your carrier is offering in terms of trade-in for your current phone. See if it's a good deal, killer deal. If you're willing to wait a couple weeks to get the phone, I would say absolutely. Why not? It's worth it. Now, is it an upgrade if you're outside of the iPhone? If you have a Samsung S8? I don't know. I mean, it's very similar. At this point, the phones are very similar. They're just running different software. In terms of hardware, of course, Apple has a proprietary system with their hardware and software, so it's always going to be a seamless system. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a better system. And that's the one thing that I think a lot of Android users kind of hold on to, is the fact that Android is a good system. It has a great notification system. It's a lot more open, a lot more customizable in that sense. People like it. I actually gave my girlfriend a Samsung. She had an iPhone and she hasn't turned back. She had an S6 Edge, S7 Edge, now she has an S8.